The Florida Gators just picked up what might be maybe a top 3 win of Billy Napier's entire tenure as a Florida Gators coach.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let me get a chomp in the chat first, because it is a victory Saturday. I am Brandon Olsen, your host. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. This was one of the best wins of Billy Napier's entire tenure at the University of Florida. It was just great. I mean, you went into that game as 4-point underdogs, or 4.5-point underdogs at the time that I bet it. 4.5-point underdogs there. You went in, and the first half was incredibly frustrating. And even the second half, like, the defense really struggled to get off the field, right? LSU went, what was it? It was an insane rate. At one point, they were 10 for 14 on third down. They went 13 for 24, which, by the way, that means that they went 3 for 10 on their final 10 third downs. They went 2 for 4 on fourth down. But that was just one hell of a win. It was. And look, it was really frustrating to watch at certain points, right? They weren't running the football. They weren't getting off the field. They limited explosives, which go back to what we talked about on yesterday's show. And it was, what do you need to do to win, right? And part of it was you need to go and limit explosives. That's one of the most important things that you can do for this team is limit explosives allowed. They did that. They did it great. So you limited explosives allowed. You went out and, didn't run the football, which was crappy. You didn't do what you needed to do, or what? Sorry. Let me rephrase that. You didn't do what I said the goal should be, which is keep it on your average distance to be like 3rd and 4 or shorter. Florida's average distance was 9.5 yards. So really not good there. But your defense did everything they needed to do, right? They pressured the quarterback. LSU had allowed 6 sacks the entire season prior to today. And then the Florida Gators picked up 7 sacks. More than doubled their season total in one game. Tyreek Sapp, Caleb Banks, Shamar James, Triquez Bridges deserve as much praise as you can possibly give them, because they played what may be the greatest games that they've played in all of college football. It was those guys played damn good football, and they deserve all of the possible credit you can give them. Like, Caleb Banks balled the hell out, and I know he was going up against a bad left guard, but he beat the crap out of him. And we've seen them go up against bad offensive lines before and not create that way. But they went out there, but Shamar James had 2 sacks. Caleb Banks had 1. George Gums had 1, and another almost sack when Garrett Nussmeier fell forward from the line. TJ Searcy had a sack. Tyreek Sapp had a sack. Cam James had a sack. This defense played lights effing out. Like, I understand, you allowed conversion, but when you play bend, don't break, and your pass rush is working the way that it was, like, it's great. It was wild. And Florida had quite a few times where, by the way, LSU just lost a commitment that flipped to Ole Miss. But LSU had a time where they were running the football and picking up chunk play after chunk play, and then they went away from it. LSU dominated time of possession. They had, 92 snaps? 92 snaps, I'm pretty sure. 48 pass attempts, 44 rushes. 104 total plays, 92 offensive plays to Florida's 43. Okay. The Florida Gators played damn good football tonight. All right. I understand. I've said I will keep my mind open about anything with Billy Napier's tenure, where I stand. This was one of those games, right? I think you helped yourself a bit. There were still quite a few coaching miscues in the first half, especially. Really hated how some things went. But as far as your team went out there and played a damn good football game and won and executed plays, I'll take it. Like I'm not going to come out here and harp on anything and call for anybody's job. This was a good football game. The defense played great. I don't think that the offense played great, but they did what they needed to do. They created a few explosives. You had the deep touchdown to Elijah Badger. You had a few big plays, which, by the way, Elijah Badger, holy crap. What a coming out game for him. 6 catches, 131 yards, and a touchdown. And I know I said it before the season of Elijah Badger could be a 1,000-yard receiver, and obviously that fell off a cliff when injuries happened and everything, but he's just damn good. Like, NFL teams are going to like him, provided he starts blocking people. Hayden Hansen finally got the football, which is the first time in a long time. This was a good game. This was a good game by the Florida Gators. Again, the first half really frustrated me in certain points, but for the most part, this was a damn good football game. And the thing that bothered me the most also was the penalties. That coaching stuff was bothering me. But this team, they played hard and they played well. This was one hell of a game. I wish that they ran the ball a little bit more, but you did what won the football game. And that's it. Like, this was one of Billy Napier's best games as the head coach of the Florida Gators. And again, there's a lot of games where you can point out things, but this ain't one of them. Prairie Rattler said, "Hi, Matt Moscona." Whoo, buddy. The SEC hosts, like the Locked On SEC hosts group chat, was popping off. Okay, I just want to throw that one out there. This was a damn good game. Okay, and I've said, the Texas game for me was not just about the result or anything. It was that I thought it was poorly coached. This game was better coached. This was a better game. This was a good game by the Florida Gators. And I'm not trying to sound repetitive with that, but truly it was. You played bend, don't break defense after you started giving up a lot of explosive plays. You had, at certain points, Aaron Childs and Shamar James, or Aaron Childs and Miles Graham, as your 2 off-ball linebackers on the field. 2 true freshmen were out there. Jaden Ball, 55-yard dagger of a run. The defensive line played insane. The defensive line played nuts, okay? They just did. There were some things defensively that still frustrated me, like Sharif Denson got toast on that little stop and go. And I thought Jordan Castell should have been in the spot to get him. Which, by the way, Jordan Castell narrowly missed what could have been a very scary injury when he broke up what could have been a touchdown pass, and his shoulder hit the goalpost. That was a pretty scary thing. I'm not gonna lie. But this is a defense that was missing Pup Howard when defending the run there, but LSU just went away from it. But man, this was just a good game. Elijah Badger coming out party. DJ Lagway really needs to start getting his feet beneath him when he's throwing the ball in the short and intermediate, because there were quite a few times where LSU should have had a pick. There were. DJ Lagway needs to get that kind of in check a little bit. I understand he's not healthy. It was very clear he's not healthy. He didn't take off running a single time, which, by the way, also good job by the offensive line keeping him relatively clean. He was pressured a few times. He was bumped a few times, but he didn't get sacked a single time, if I'm not mistaken. DJ Lagway played accuracy-wise as far as the underneath stuff. But, man, I mean, you brought LSU into a knockdown, dragged out game, and you won. Like you won that game. But yeah, it was interesting to see the running back split, but man, I mean, this is just I'm honestly I'm gonna use this word, and I never use this word, but I am elated with this victory. It is just incredible to see this win. It is incredible to see a decently coached game at the University of Florida. The penalties were nuts. I just saw someone, Thomas, brought that up in the chat. That it was crazy, but the Florida Gators defense showed up. Florida Gators defense made plays. Special teams scared me a little bit with Chim DK down there, but I mean, it was just a great game. A great game. There's no other way to put it. Brian Kelly's a clown, which is also great. I hate him so much. I hate him. Trace Mack made a 55-yard field. But we got 240 people in here right now. All right? 240 people in here. That's how you know the Florida Gators just played a damn good football game. Now, we got 240 folks in here. All right? I will say, like, subscribe, do whatever the hell you want to do. Celebrate, pour up a little bit, light up a little bit, whatever you got to do. This was a damn good win by the Florida Gators. Like, celebrate it. Be happy. Because this was a damn good win. And also, let's acknowledge, let's do this. You've got Ole Miss next week, right? And that game might be a pain in the you-know-what. You got FSU the week after that, and you should handedly beat FSU. You could be bowl-bound here. You could be bowl-bound. Johnny Days, I have not changed my opinion. You got a problem? Go ahead and cry somewhere else and spell my name right. It's Olsen. Put some damn respect on it, you coward and loser. The Florida Gators won this game and significantly increased their chance of making a bowl game. That was huge. Again, this was a game where I don't think many people truly, because when you think about it, LSU, if they won this game, still had a chance at making the SEC championship. And I think that's what gives me a lot of joy here as well. That you get to take that from LSU. You took that from them. And I love that. I've always said I'm a generational hater. I love that you took that from LSU. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Chat, we will get to you in a minute. Say whatever it is you want to say. We'll get to it and we'll talk about it. The Florida Gators potentially bowl bound. The Florida Gators beat the LSU Tigers by 2 scores despite being 4.5-point underdogs. It is beautiful. Beautiful. We'll talk more about the Florida Gators win over LSU next on Locked On Gators. I don't know if you like making money, but if you do, PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. So you can run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You could have picked Elijah Badger more on his receiving yards, and Kyron Lacey, who got clamped up, had 1 catch up until the final LSU drive, had 1 catch on 2 targets, strapped completely. Could have bet less for him and made yourself some money with that one. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win, by the way, to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. They also have weekly promotions like Taco Tuesday with discounts there. And you can go to PrizePicks. So download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. And if you're looking to celebrate this win, ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct not dehydration. That's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. I already had mine because we were already drinking other stuff here on Locked On Gators. Go to zbiotics.com/LockedOnCollege to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Locked On College at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no question asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege at checkout for 15% off. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, every day. Oh, man, we got a lot of messages in the chat here. All right. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. And I'm going to scroll up to basically when Johnny Days started crying and soiling himself in my comments section, because that's what he does and that's what people do. And that's fine, right? People can do that. People can be whiny little you-know-whats. DJ showed out the arm. He's got a tremendous arm talent. Who was he just talking to? I'm assuming Johnny Days in the chat is who I was talking to when I called him a loser, or whatever I call him. I don't care. DJ Lagway has tremendous arm talent, but he does this thing on intermediate passes where he kind of, and he does it a lot, he kind of doesn't get his feet beneath him. And he tends to airmail a little bit because then it's too much of his arm and it's just an overcorrection there. He needs to get his feet beneath him more frequently. But that's also something that's going to happen when you're a true freshman. Like, that's the thing that comes with experience and you will get better at. But I'm just saying right now, that's something that he needs to work on more consistently. Getting his feet beneath him and allowing himself to throw more accurate footballs underneath. That's it. But again, he's got probably the harder part of playing here, of throwing the deep ball. It's beautiful. Like, honestly, his deep ball is one of the best in college football right now. It's great. Gators took care of the football, that they did. No interceptions, no fumbles. Take care of it. They barely had any plays, by the way. They had 43 plays. But they took care of the football there. Won the game. It was beautiful. If Georgia loses tonight, it would be great. Anyone lose money on Mike Tyson? That was the worst fight I've ever seen. Holy crap. The fight before it was amazing. But I think that they're like, oh, we need to put good fights in front of this one because this is going to suck, no doubt in my mind. Great for Billy and the boys. Did they rush the field? No. That's why we were a couple minutes, like it was like 2 minutes after the game ended that we went live, because I wanted to sit there and watch them rush the field if they rushed the field. I was really hoping that they wouldn't. I'm very glad that they didn't rush the field. I've been part of a field storming before. It's one hell of a time. It is. It's great. But you don't do that at the University of Florida. And I think that's an important thing there. But yeah, this is just one insane win. I almost dropped an F-bomb there. It was an insane win. I was just, again, like Tyreek Sapp is someone I want to focus on a little bit, because Tyreek Sapp is someone that I feel like every offseason we hear, oh, Tyreek Sapp on the D-line, like he's going to be good. This is the year he pops. This is the year he pops. And we've never really seen that. And this year, he's really come on. He has. Like Tyreek Sapp, I'm not saying he's this elite football player that's the best defensive lineman on the planet. I'm not saying any of that. But Tyreek Sapp has played some damn good football this year. I'll pull up his numbers right now, but he's genuinely, first off, he's the highest graded starter by PFF. I don't measure PFF grades like that. I'm just saying he's the highest graded starter by PFF. He's the second most pressures on the team, which now he's got to be. Now he's got to be first, right? But like Tyreek Sapp just played some damn good football today. Tyreek Sapp has played damn good football this year. He's your leading sack getter on the team. He's played really good. Caleb Banks played really good. And that's the thing. Like someone said, that 9 Summer said, Sapp has heart and it means something to him. Yes. But not that I don't care about it. I don't think that, like when I watch a player, I don't go, oh, he's got heart. That makes him a better football player. But he played really good. He's played really good this year. I don't know if he just taken a different approach, but Gerald Chapman on the defensive line, his defensive line coaching, has done a really good job this year. They've gotten way better. They have gotten a lot better this year. Anybody else, if you want to say something in the chat, just say it. I'm not scrolling up all the way for things, but I am going to be looking at some of these things. If we could have beaten Tennessee and Georgia, what could have been? Yeah, it would have been incredible, right? Would have been incredible. Ben Forbes said, man, I'm going buck crazy. I'm trying to. I'm telling you, I've been asking David Locke, the founder of Locked On, to just let me go explicit. Just take the leash off and just let me go nuts with it. Because, oh, man, we could be going crazy right now. IU offers 8-year contract to Signetti. They signed him to an 8-year contract extension. It was incredible there. This was just one hell of a game, right? DJ arm and decision-making is that of a senior. To play solid in the SEC shows Lagway is going to be a Heisman candidate in a couple years. Tyson looked geriatric, and I love Mike Tyson. DJ Lagway never got sacked. Yeah, that's what I said. A few people tried to rush the field in 97 when UF beat number 1 FSU. That's like at least a reasonable thing, right? Not beating number 22 LSU when you were 4-point underdogs. If Florida's O-line can play this well, then they may have a chance. Yes, Florida's offensive line has had moments this year. Like they've had genuine moments where they look pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Let's see if we have their line yards yet. Yeah, 1 line yard per carry, which basically means that the offensive line themselves created the line yard on the carry or the rushing yard on the ground there, which is what it is. That's not great, but if I'm not mistaken, that's better than what they've been for most of the year. So improvement there. National champion Storm Swamp. Do we have pressures here yet? Is that I don't think we have those numbers yet, but yeah, no, we don't. Havoc rating. LSU was pretty good. LSU created 8 havoc plays, 4 against the pass though, that's pressures and everything. But yeah, it was a great game by Florida. We don't suck. I guess not. I guess we don't suck. Hopefully it'll boost recruiting. Hopefully. I love the way Bridges and Dijon played at corner. Didn't have to force Cormani, which allows him to save his red shirt. Yeah. Honestly, I thought we'd see more Cormani and just say screw it with the red shirt. I would have been fine with that. Bridges played really well when he was out there for quite a few. He made some really good plays. There were obviously some downsides to it, but made some really good plays. I thought that covering Mason Taylor was the hardest part, but that's always been a thing. Like Florida this year hasn't done a great job of covering tight ends, and Mason Taylor is one of the more productive tight ends in the country. 11 targets, 6 catches, 59 yards. For me, Mason Taylor was more about the moving the sticks, getting the first downs was nuts. For Mason Taylor, as in just moving it around. Aaron Anderson had a good game for them. The refs were in the bag for LSU. The refs, oh my. Okay, here's the thing where I stand on the refs. And I'm glad that you brought it up, Sensei. I think that Florida had a lot of, I think all of the calls on Florida were pretty fair. I do. I think that Florida had, those false starts are undeniable. Things like that. But the thing that drove me crazy was I feel like there were some obvious penalties on LSU and they never got called. The holding on the deep shot to Elijah Badger, deep shot, pass down the sideline when he's running a go route. That should have been easily called against LSU, and there was nothing. There were a couple times where I thought LSU's offensive line should have been called for a holding, and there was nothing. So I don't think that. I think the refs were horrible, but not in the sense of that they were making bad calls on Florida, because Florida had, again, delay of games, false starts, procedural things. But LSU just didn't get them called on them, and that was weird to me. I hated that. I don't think that they made bad calls against Florida. I think they had not bad non-calls against LSU. And so that's where I stand on the refs. I thought they sucked there, yes. DJ was pressured all game, but that's LSU. When they realized, hey, DJ's not going to be running right now, they just started blitzing the hell out of him. Now, I want to see the blitz numbers for LSU when we get all the PFF stats and everything. I need to know how much they blitz him. DJ is 3-1 as a starter, and his only loss is when he left the game. Fans are going to be arguing so much if Napier beats Kiffin in the swamp. All right, since if Napier beats Kiffin, that would be enough for me to, and it's a good win, not like, Napier, not like Kiffin just crapped the bed. If it's a good win against Lane Kiffin, and by that I mean a well-coached win, that would be enough for me to shut up about wanting Napier fired. I'm not talking about wanting Napier fired. I've said I'm not going to bring it up all the time. I don't think that it's going to happen, so I'm not going to waste my time. But doing that, beating Lane Kiffin, and I mean beating Lane Kiffin, not Lane Kiffin beating himself, but beating Lane Kiffin, I think would get me to shut the hell up about Billy Napier's job. And I think that you'd answer the call for a lot of people about Billy Napier's job. So I'll say that. That's my bar now. That's what I'm setting it at. Refs said to be shaking. Refs missed pass interference on several LSU DBs. If DJ Lagway didn't get injured, we would have beaten Georgia and been in the playoffs. Strength of schedule. Maybe. Don't forget, when talking about, if DJ Lagway didn't get hurt, I do need to say that it's important to acknowledge that it was the second quarter when DJ Lagway got hurt. Like, there was plenty of time for that game to go in either direction. Could have become a Florida blowout. Could have become a Georgia blowout. Defense played amazing. Secondary didn't give the refs a chance to call PI against us. D-line dominated. Multiple passes broken up. Defenses looked amazing. Look, so my thing with Florida's defensive line had been, I don't think that the pass rush had been as impressive as it had been hyped up to be. I think that it was really bad to start the year, had a bit of a pickup in the middle of the year, but people were like, this is so good, such a good pass rush. And I don't think that was true. Tonight was a damn good pass rush. Like, that's what that was, rushing the effing passer. That was finding success. That was dominating at the line of scrimmage. And that's something that we have not seen. LSU had the ball for 42 minutes. They were playing ball control football. And Florida just capitalized when they could. Florida made some good plays. I mean, it was a well-coached game, a well-played game by Florida. I can't complain too much about it. Glad to see these true freshmen stepping up and making plays. I'll shut up too if he beats Kiffin head up. I'll even stop calling for an OC. I won't go that far. But I will say that I'll stop talking about him. Hope we get those recruits interested. Tennessee volunteers right now with Nico is what Strickland is envisioning for 2025 at DJ next year. He looks like Patrick Mahomes out there. Look, this was, again, and we'll wrap up with this, but I just want to say, again, and I'm not trying to be too repetitive or harp on things like crazy, but I truly think that this was a top 3 win for Billy Napier in his entire tenure at the University of Florida. Just looking at this year, I don't think he had, of all the wins that they've got this year, now this is a good one, but I don't think Kentucky was an amazing win. I think beating Kentucky handedly is what you're supposed to do. Considering the expectations of the team, sure, but Mississippi State wasn't an important win. UCF wasn't an important win. I don't think even if you say Kentucky was a good win, it wasn't an important win. Samford, obviously not an important win, not a big win. McNeese State last year. Tennessee was another big win. Vandy last year. South Carolina last year. South Carolina was a great comeback, but you were better than that team. Utah. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable saying that this is a top 3 win because it's Utah in 2022, Tennessee in 2023, and then LSU in 2024. This is a top 3 win for Billy Napier. And you could argue, like Charles Todd Sullivan, president 2024, just said, seems like the best win of Napier's tenure. You could argue that. And I wouldn't fight you on that. I wouldn't. Because I do think that this is probably the best win. And every win right now is important. Yes, but I mean in terms of the situation, the circumstance, being underdogs against a team that you haven't beaten in 5 years and that Billy Napier's never beaten, top 3 win. Easily. I think that this is one hell of a win. And that's why it's one of those things where I'm not going to sit here and talk about if Billy should be fired. None of that. Hell of a win. Hell of a game. Did I have issues with the game? Yeah. We'll talk about those Monday, though, right? This is the win. This is the game. This is what you need. Next week, you got Ole Miss. I'm not going to say that I now expect you to win that game, of course. But you got FSU the week after. And that's a game that you should win. And if you win any of those games, you're bowl bound. Considering where everybody thought this team would go after week 1 against Miami, damn good spot to be in. Damn good spot to be in. Interior D-line looked good. We also went up against backup. Yeah. Absolutely. That's the thing, too. Went up against backup left guard, backup right guard. Sure, you should dominate them. But how many times have we heard, oh, they're going up against this backup at this position and Florida doesn't exploit them? I don't care that you went up against a backup left guard. You handled business against that backup left guard. Like that's a thing for me. Like if you go up against a backup left guard and you don't dominate, that's embarrassing. But you went out against a backup left guard and ate his damn lunch money all game long. Caleb Banks just bullied that poor boy. I'm pretty sure he's a true freshman, so he's a boy. Caleb Banks just bullied him. And oh my goodness. What a game. Just great game. Great win. How many times have DK and Badger caught 30-plus yard bombs and then at the one? Honestly, if we looked back at it and we saw how many times they catch like a 30-plus yard bomb and end within the 5, probably a good bit of them. About time we knock off LSU. Enjoy the win. Not even a Gator, and I'm loving it. Welcome, Prairie Rattler. They went up against our backup secondary. Yeah, for the most part, right? Or not. I don't even know if I'd say for the most part because it was Triquez at corner, Dijon at corner, Bryce at safety. I guess you could argue, yeah, 3/5 of the backup secondary. Ryan Swade needed this win bad. Huge win. Again, you know what? I think the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this is quite possibly. I keep thinking of the Utah game in 2022 and just that being Billy Napier's first game at Florida. Utah ended up being a legitimately really good team, Pac-12 champions that year. So that's why I just keep thinking about that. But yeah, this is, for me, top 2 win for Billy Napier. It passes Tennessee from last year. And as far as the team actually performing well, it's this. Sure, couldn't get off the field on 3rd down or 4th down, but limited explosive plays, kept them out the end zone, won the football game. Not complaining. This was one hell of a win, one hell of a game. There we go, Chris. There we go. You got it. A couple typos there, but you got it. Hopefully this game brings in recruits with speed. Yep, hopefully. This win proves to me that if Lagway doesn't go down, we would have beaten Georgia. That's fair. Great on the fresh linebackers. Yep, hell of a game, hell of a win. We're going to wrap up here, but this was, again, just a hell of a game. I'm at the point where I'm thinking about it, and it's just one hell of a win for the Florida Gators, especially when you consider just everything that you needed to do and everything that could have gone poorly and all that. And like, it was an exciting game too. This was just Billy Napier's top 2 career win at the University of Florida, possibly top 2 career win ever, really, when you think about it. But you capitalized. LSU did not make this game easy. Like they didn't. They dominated time of possession. They dominated number of plays. They moved the ball consistently. They dominated on 3rd downs. And you pulled through and you fought and you won, and it's beautiful. And you did it with key players making big time plays. And that's all you can ask for. Like, I'm not going to sit here and complain about anything. You won. It was one hell of a game. We're going to celebrate. Saturdays are for feeling. I'm not going to chug this, but Saturdays are for feeling. And golly, does it feel good right now. It feels really freaking good. So everybody, enjoy your Saturday. Hope it's a safe Saturday, a fun Saturday. And go Gators. I am Brandon Olsen. Again, there's 140 people in here 35 minutes later. This is just ridiculous, but thank you so much for making Locked On Gators your first listen. If you've ever listened, if this is your first time listening, whatever it is, thank you so much. Please do like, subscribe, comment, whatever it is you want to do. We will be back on Monday to talk more Florida Gators football, talk about this win, celebrate this win. And then we're looking forward to Ole Miss and the Lane Train coming to Gainesville. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI, and I will see you all next time.